Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. My name is Ingram Jones and I have with me special guest and good friend to the show, Bobby Gunn. Hi Bobby, how you doing?
My friend. I'm doing good. Thanks for having me on. It's always an honor to come on. You guys are the best out there.
Always a pleasure talking to you as well. For those people who don't know who you are, very quickly, quick overview as to who you are.
I'm the former cruiserweight boxing champion. I'm the current world bare knuckle heavyweight champion. I fought the first and only legitimate sanctioned fight August the 5th, 2011, and it's been a roller coaster ride since then.
It has indeed. The last time we spoke, I think we talked just after Tyson Fury had won the heavyweight championship of the world. Since then, Tyson's been stripped. There's a new IBF champion, and of course now Tyson was in New York last week causing a bit of a stir. Tell us your thoughts about what was going on there.
Well, you know, he arrived in class like he always is. He looked like him and young Huey, his cousin Huey Fury. And I met them at the hotel, and we went over to the fight. And literally, I'm telling you, walking into the arena, people were stopping them. They were chanting, "There's only one Tyson Fury." It was unbelievable. What an experience it was. And they treated him like the king that he is. And we walked up the ringside, and Mike Tyson, he got to meet Mike Tyson, which I know Mike Tyson from years ago. You know, I know when I was a kid, Mike Tyson was good friends of some of my cousins. And anyway, Mike Tyson treated him like a champ, and that he is. And it was a great experience. But I will tell you this. No doubt, no way, shape, or form, you could even compare any of the young heavyweights today to Tyson Fury. Tyson would beat any of the other title holders, anybody out there, and that's a fact.
So let's talk a little bit about how the American public received him when he was sitting down in the audience. I saw a lot of photographs being taken. I heard people say he was drunk, he was disorderly. How was your take being right close to Tyson?
No, he wasn't drunk. He was eating a steak dinner with me around 4 p.m. We were in the hotel room talking about boxing. You got to understand, people is always going to say this and say that. And unfortunately, there's haters out there and critics.
Indeed.
You know, they're going to criticize. And when he walked in there with a $1,500 suit on. And I'm telling you, and Huey did too, they looked like James Bond 007 walking in there. And the American public would love them. I mean, he got the royal red carpet treatment. And I'm telling you as an eyewitness, not with somebody saying or haters, I was there with them boys. And I was kind of watching out for them like an older cousin, you know what I mean? And just being around them. And my boy was with me. You know, my boy's only 19 years old. And we were all together all day that night. And like I said, we had a great time. People's going to say this out because they're friends of the competition. They don't like Tyson Fury coming there stealing the show. People was more interested in Tyson Fury at ringside than he was at the fights taking place in the ring. And that's a fact.
Let's talk about... There's a few things I want to talk about there before we actually talk about what was going on inside the ring. Another rumour was Tyson Fury was being escorted off the premises by the security. Can you clear that up for me?
I never seen that. I think that's all lies. Like I said, after the fight, I went home with my boy. They went back to their hotel room. Everybody left. Everybody was treating Tyson the highest respect. Again, remember, if anything like that happened at this day and time, wouldn't that be a major news? Wouldn't it be on TV, on videos? Everybody has a video camera. So that's speculation and people making him lies or maybe offering him something. That boy come as the heavyweight champion of the world, and he left as a heavyweight champion on total class act.
Now, the final thing I heard was that Tyson Fury and Carl Froch, I don't know if you know who Carl Froch is. He fought...
Yes, I know.
Go ahead.
I know who he is. I don't know, again... You got to understand something real quick. if I got up and Tyson Fury walked by me and I looked at him and he looked at me and people say, oh, Bobby Gunn and Tyson Fury had an argument. But they can't say because I love him. You know, I mean, I look at him as his family to me. And I never seen that, my friend. Like I said, I'll put it this way here. I don't think too many people is going to mess with them anyway. You know what I mean? So if they have something to say, they're going to keep it to themselves in person. But afterwards, everybody should talk. Unfortunately, in life, critics are like an arsehole. Everybody's got one. You can't pay attention to them.
Yep. That's unfortunate because another story that I heard was that Tyson Fury and Carl Froch got into it. I will have to talk to Tyson himself to confirm this, but I heard that the story is Tyson Fury went after Carl Froch. Don't know why he went after him, but there was an altercation between the two. That's why the security broke him up, and Carl Froch was basically running for his life. Now, I don't know how true that is. Sounded quite comical, really, but I
never seen that like that. I to be honest with you, when I was there with Tyson, I'm just telling you right now, if any of those guys got out of line, if they said something to Tyson, I wouldn't think twice of just breaking their jaws on the spot. You know what I mean? Because I was there for Tyson. I wouldn't let that boy fight anybody or get any help when I was with him. But like I said, after the fight, I went home with my son because I got a little family, a little wife, my little girl, my boy, and I called the room, and Tyson was back at his hotel very early in Young Huey because they had a flight the next day. They were going actually next day to meet Lennox Lewis, walk around downtown New York. So they were, like I said, everything went perfectly okay.
Wow. Did you yourself get to meet Lennox Lewis around that time as well? Was he around?
Yep. I was talking to him. I had a little talk with Lennox. I had a little private talk with him, and we had a good old time. And I got to see a lot of people there. I got to see Mike Tyson, my old friend from years ago, and I was happy that he got to meet Tyson Fury, and he was blown away with Tyson. He did. He told Tyson that you're the king, and Tyson Fury gave him the highest respect back. And it was a great, again, this boy truly doesn't need any introductions right now. He is world famous, and tonight he'll be on HBO Real Sports for Brian Gumbel, and it'll be a major broadcast tonight. It'll be a great episode called The Gypsy King, and I'm looking forward to it tonight.
Absolutely, I'm looking forward to it myself. So let's look on Tyson jumping in the ring. Again, in the ring with the Antics. I thought it was first class personally, because great way to sell yourself. There were a few people that thought it was silly, but they don't understand the business of boxing and entertainment. And Tyson, when you talk to entertainment, there is only one in boxing at the moment who can entertain the way Tyson does. I thought he put in a first-class performance. Him and Deontay going at it. It seemed more hype than anything else, but it got people looking. I said to people, I bet you any money that this will get over 1 million views on YouTube. And people were laughing at me, as they always do laugh at me. They're not laughing now. I think it's close to almost 2 million hits on YouTube. So he's doing the right thing.
Absolutely, and look at it this way, too. With the Muhammad Ali and Joe Frazier fights, would they had any interest if there wasn't any chemistry going in? Think about that.
Exactly.
You have to have a little drama and chemistry that makes interesting for the fans.
Right.
You have to have characters, and Tyson is the ultimate character in heavyweight division.
Okay, let's move away from that for the minute now. Let's talk about yourself. Now, I saw some articles in the newspaper with yourself and you and another gentleman in the newspaper. It was a clipping, and I only brushed past it, and I saw Bobby Gunn and Illegal and Hand Wraps and BKB, and I thought,
Oh, I'll tell you what that was. Again, people in not disrespecting them, but see the Sun newspapers back home, like the Irish Sun or in Scotland Sun.
Yes.
They're like what we would call the national enquirer in the USA. Like there could be a sighting of an alien in the front cover. Don't really mean them. I mean, I wouldn't doubt next week they have me having lunch with El Chapo. You know, I don't pay any attention. What it was is that they put a gentleman in that an article called Danny Provenzano, who wasn't even in England. Danny Prov was a movie director in America, and a very quite a character himself, intelligent. The man's very well known. He does music videos for Aerosmith, and then they said illegal unlicensed bare knuckle boxing, and what it is again, it would be, because there's some groups that do that back home in UK and then all that. But like I said, we're not doing it unlicensed or unregulated. We have official rules, and we're going to be putting a show in UK. And we're working right now. I can't really say any names, but we're working with the high top officials to regulate this the professional way.
Right.
And we got major, when I tell you, major people involved with us. But again, this will be real bare-knuckle boxing. It won't be bandages and hand wraps. Unfortunately, my friend, that is like in a gray area when you wear bandages and hand wraps, because that really isn't bare-knuckle boxing. I mean, let me ask you a question. If I promoted a fight and the fighters had bandages on just about as thick as a 1-inch thick or the 1-inch foam behind it, is that really bare-knuckle boxing?
No, it's hand wrap boxing.
That's what it is. So I look at that again. Fair play. There's a lot of good ways to do it, but I look at that as a gray area, like a novice, what I would say, compared to real, legitimate bare-knuckle boxing. And they have ways of not charging tickets, and they have invite only. They pull little permits in that, and that's not legitimate sanctioned by the government of the BBC, the British Border Control. And like I said, we're doing things different. We had a great meeting actually with Border Control last week, and we're doing different things. And again, I've always said, and myself, if you look at me, all my fights are bare fists. So I'm a big believer in it. And if you go to the dictionary again, not me, but Gunn, but the dictionary, the definition of bare knuckle boxing clearly states no bandages or gloves. That's it. So we are the only ones that are doing it the other way. And again, I take my hat off to everybody out there. There's a lot of good groups out there doing their honest to God, they're doing the best they can do. God love them, they're doing good, but it's not real bare knuckle boxing. It's hand wraps. So no offense to them, and I wish them the best of all. They're nice people, they're lovely people, but we're doing things a wee bit different. And as far as things being written in this paper, this, that, if you listen to half the stuff, I probably will be on Mars too in a month now, you know.
So how do I or people out there, how they tell the difference? It's just the fact that okay, they're not wearing wraps, so they're legit. What makes a legit organization? Who are the legit organizations? If you can tell me who the legit organizations are.
There is some organizations, I believe, in the UK, and they're doing a wonderful job. But again, that's not bare knuckle boxing. They use a lot of hand wraps, and anybody that does that, all the hand wraps, that's taken away from the purest form. It's taken away the history of the sport. Right. Again, remember this: the sport is called bare knuckle boxing, not bandage knuckle boxing. And I've beaten this with like a drum, trying to put in people's head, understand what makes it legitimate. You're asking me when an organization is a registered trademark company and it's working along with a sanctioned body, legitimate governing body commission, okay, and they go okay it and they okay the rules, and the medicals are done right, and the drug testing is done right, and like I said, all the medicals, the blood pressure, heart, it's like the regular boxing. You understand? They check for everything, and the blood test. And when that's all done, and they're in that bare knuckle octagon ring, and they're fighting bare knuckle, well, then that's what I would say is a legitimate bare knuckle contest. But again, that's the difference. I mean, it's kind of like night and day.
We talked about the traveling community and their culture of bare knuckle fighting. What are you going to do to reach out to traveling community to get them involved in this as well?
Well, again, and if people ask, I just want to make this clear. In the traveler community, there's a lot of them have war bandages over the years. But again, that was to settle differences between family rivals, and also, hear me out, claim to be, king of the gypsy, king of the traveler title. And that's fine. But again, that is not legitimate sanctioned bare knuckle boxing. You understand that? That was back roads, gravel roads. that I'm not putting it down, but that's how that was done. It's not legitimate sanction. It was rivals. And yes, we have got right now, I would say, 7 of the elite top traveler gypsy boys that are ready with us when we do a world public announcement very soon of all the fighters we had. There's 7 that I counted a few days ago that are willing to compete under the new, legitimate sanction rules. And they're great names, and they're going to stir up. I mean, they're going to bring a lot of media attention to the sport of bare knuckle boxing.
What's the sort of pressure you're getting for this bare knuckle stuff at the moment? Because you've got boxing, you've got MMA, you've got the UFC MMA, and the UFC are really doing well for themselves at the moment. Boxing's making a resurgence. Where do you think BKB is going to fit?
I see bare knuckle boxing in the next 5 years being a major third powerhouse sport next to MMA and boxing. Do I ever see it being on top of it? I mean, that's up to the fans. I mean, you're talking, again, it's the oldest form of combat sports. It was original before boxing and MMA was. But it is also relatively new to the world. Like, I bring it back. I mean, I resurrected it to the world media. That's why I'm kind of like the poster boy for bare knuckle boxing. I bring it to the mainstream. But it's been a tough task. So we a lot of in-depth rules and regulations and commissioners that had to meet with top attorneys and it's a lot of work. But we got a great team, and I can sadly say right now we have a team that I can't announce yet that it's going to blow people's minds when the public announcement, when they see who is behind us in the bare knuckle boxing, and a lot of good stars and celebrities, and when I tell you, professional top people, and that's what it's going to take is a mainstream fight. The fight that we're working on right now is a fight between me and Kimbo Slice this year.
I was going to ask you about that. You beat me to it. I was going to ask you about the Kimbo Slice and Gunn negotiations. How are they going?
Everything is going great. I speak to Kevin. He's a gentleman. He's a class act. His manager, I see Mike, who's the nicest man in the world. I mean, a genius. The man is a genius. And Kimbo's got 2 more MMA fights scheduled under contract with Bellator Promotions. Yep. And God willing, he is by them. We're open for a major, I can't say where it's at, but it'll be in U.S. soil. It'll be a sanctioned original fight. It'll be probably a sellout of 20,000 attendance. And that's the fight that I'm saving myself, training myself for, to bring the sport mainstream. And again, that's how much I love the sport. It's just not so much getting there and fighting Kimbo Slice, defending my bare knuckle world heavyweight title. It's going in there and taking the pain, the bruises, the cuts, the smashes, the broken noses, whatever. I'm willing to do this to bring the sport mainstream because I love the sport, and it's a part of my life. 24/7, I dedicate myself to the sport. I'm not somebody like there's a lot of people that just come on this sport, a couple of years ago or a year ago, and they're not fight historians. They don't know the true history of the game. I grew up in a family, as a traveling community. My people, we're harder than coffin nails, and bare knuckle boxing is in our blood through and throughout. And this sport, to me, right now, is a part of my life.
Now, how do I put this? You once made a statement that you felt that it was safer. Now, I don't want to misquote you here. It was safer to bare knuckle box than to actually be a boxer. Did you say that, or am I misquoting you there?
Yes, I did. Absolutely, 100%. And also, top doctors, neurologists, brain surgeons have give us affidavits, which we're going to be coming. See, I just got done filming 2 major publication magazines today, and I'm doing a major story with one of the biggest television networks in the world right now. And all this is going to be coming to life here in the next few months. And I can not only I can tell you, but as the fighter himself, any injuries I've ever got or hurt that was in professional boxing, in the gym sparring with gloves on. Never bare knuckle boxing. Bare knuckle boxing, you get superficial cuts, a cut of the eye, a lip. Yeah, you're going to get a hard shot, but it's not like the impact with a hand wrap. You stop and think real quick. Your hands wrapped like a cast. And then with that glove on, you smash somebody. I say the hand wraps are not safe. I mean, I'm not mentioning names, but I have studies with some certain people that have competed with hand wraps, and if you take a screenshot of their photograph and blow up their hand wraps, look at that. It looks like a cast pair of plaster. That's a weapon. And that's what we will not endorse. We are away from that. That, to me, is dangerous. Again, it's not just that it ain't bare knuckle boxing. It's dangerous for the fighters.
Wow. Bobby Gunn, do you have a message to your fans out there?
Yes, I just want to tell them I love them very much, and I thank you for all the support and everything you're doing. And it's like that song, you know, it goes, one day at a time, sweet Jesus. Then he says, that's all that I'm asking you for. One day at a time, my brother. I thank the Lord for my blessings. And I thank God for my wee wife, my wee girl, my wee boy. And I thank God for your friendship, my brother. And this is going to be a good year for us all. I pray for everybody. And again, not knocking anybody out there. Like people do different form of combat sports or bandages. I pray that the good Lord blesses them all. And I hope we all do wonderful this year. I would say that right now, not just because I'm talking, but I think they're the best company out there to bring top interviews to the world. And everybody support them and get behind them. Because right now, you're on a rise. You're going to the top big time.
Thank you so much. Bobby Gunn, thank you so much for talking to Bayloric TV.
Thank you, my friend. God bless you. You're always a breath of fresh air to talk to, and I'm always your pal.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
God bless you, my friend.